Welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success story series of interviews where we discuss with local business leaders their backgrounds, their successes and challenges, and what drives them forward. And this afternoon, I'm really delighted we have with us Asim Khan, who's director at YG International. So firstly, Asim, welcome and thank you for spending some time with us. And if you'd like to introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, what you do, and how you help people, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Well, my name's Asim Khan, and director of YG International Limited. Basically, what we do, we produce essential oils from the tropical islands of Madagascar and Comoros Islands. Also, we export spices from these islands as well, mainly Comoros and Madagascar. So my journey in terms of what we do is obviously we produce the oils, we try to export them out to the European market, being UK and Europe, obviously being based here, and also we try to do far afield in the Middle East as well. Currently, we're just working on obviously in the UK market as well as Europe. So I've got a few clients working, and gradually as things are going, like we're kind of opening up to different markets. And obviously some of our products are seasonal based, so like our cloves, and clove stems, so these are like kind of seasonal products. So we have like a season, so now the clove stem product is starting, so the seasons have arisen. So we're I mean, hopefully soon I'll be in a few months time I'll be going to find a way as well to Madagascar. It's on the agenda. So yeah, I mean, in terms of what we try to do is we work with the locals on the ground. I have a few really good friends that spend some time out there as well, who work together as a team, and we have our own distillery as well. So we produce our main oil is actually Ylang Ylang. So we're producing this oil on the ground, and as well as a few other, we have like a handful of a list of oils in geraniums, another one, and neroli from Comoros Islands. So both areas, like we're producing oil as well as exporting. So the aim is obviously as a business, obviously it's a whole supply chain. So we're not only, as a business, but every time we sell a product, it helps the locals on the ground, the farmers, and the ones that actually bring the flowers into our distillery and we distill them for them. Obviously, then we do the export side. So in a business, obviously, we have kind of a full control of the supply chain. We have literally from start to finish, till it reaches our client's doorstep. We have a full overlook on the whole supply chain. So this means obviously we know that where our product is coming from, where we know we can tell the story of our clients, and each individual how we're helping. I mean, my journey obviously started back in it's actually started in 2000 and end of 2017. Actually in 18 hours spent a whole year actually abroad out there, and it was basically by chance and coincidentally actually a friend of mine approached me actually in Blackburn, and I was at the market, and he just said, look, there's an opportunity that arose, and do you fancy doing something? Because prior to that, obviously I was I work as in the dental field as a dental assistant. So so if you can understand, Chris, the two different extremes, like 1 minute, next minute, like you're boarding a plane and you're going away, and you're doing the basic research, and then next minute you're making the order, and then you're on the ground in Zanzibar. It's like and it's just like a whole different one extreme to the other. So in terms of the whole journey, we after having a discussion with my friend, and then I did some basic research, and we got a senior friend of mine who sat down, and we kind of broke down what is demand in Africa, because he had another friend who was actually the one that he was inviting us to come over. It's a long story. I mean, by the time then I start doing my research, and then we start finding a supplier, and we end up trading in rice. So that was my first ever international business of doing, which I mean, as a novice, I mean, like we eat rice, but knowing the grades and quality, it was just a total different yeah, it's just like doing your homework ever again. So again, so we traveled all the way to Pakistan. We've obviously been a major exporter of rice. We met up with the one exporter. We went down with the grades, what would be ideal. Made the initial agreement, then came back to the UK. I discussed with my friend, and the next minute I was on a plane going to Tanzania. So business, I mean, like for me, I think at a young age, I mean, always been like in that school days. I mean, it's been always, always been trying to buy and sell something. So school days, in the morning, used to whatever money you used to have, like the dinner money you used to have, you used to keep it in our pocket and go to the shop early hours in the morning before catching the bus. And during lunch and break, we used to buy and sell. So sell whatever you have, and then I think always have had that kind of spirit. And then as time progresses along, obviously the opportunity arose, and then I took the opportunity to go abroad. And then had I not done that, and had I've just sat with my friends, and as you do, you come with ideas and you talk and talk and talk, and then I think none of them have actually gone ahead to the next stage where, okay, we're doing something. And I think over the last couple of years, I think I've been more of a doer than talking. So I've kind of gone ahead and actually carried out, rather than sitting back and looking at talking and discussing ideas, whereas you go practicality. So that's the I think the basis of the journey. So when I was out in Tanzania, from there, we started an initial trading with rice. A good I think whole year we traded out there. We were in between Zanzibar and Dar es Salaam, places I've never been before. It was like deep end, language barriers. I mean, they did speak English, but obviously Swahili is another. So again, going into the markets, learning so I learned the local numbers, how to say buy and sell, quantity in the local language. And from zero experience to how knowing, starting to, understand the culture, how it works and everything. And then we did a road trip to Mombasa as well to check out the markets. And then eventually we ended up in Comoros Islands, because that's where we started continuing on the trade with rice. And whilst I was there, and this was, I was discussing obviously like the gentleman, like how my friend met, and he was given the opportunity to do something else, so at the same time, so I met a very good friend out there, and he advised me, look, these are the products, and this is what you need to get into, which was essential oils. And until then, some of these products are Ylang Ylang, I never heard of. I thought, well, what's this? Like, so then whilst I was there, I've spent obviously a good 7 months out there, and I made good friends with the two of the producers. We were really very close, meeting day in, day out. And then eventually, obviously, I, like when I seen the culture over there, how things operate, how the whole the system, how it helps, and how the locals, like how much they needed in terms of supporting selling. And if you can see nowadays, a lot of companies or individuals are going out to some countries, and they're not only doing business but actually giving back to the region as well. So like planting trees, new initiatives, whether it's health, education, there's always something going on to help the locals back. So this is how it started. Anyway, Chris, if you
So I mean, I'm sure you must have had a few challenges to overcome. What were some of the biggest issues you've had to overcome?
I mean, the biggest issues I think that I faced was, some of the issues I think we kind of created, as you always create for yourself. And I think some of the mistakes, the school, well, I call them school like boy kind of error, but the mistakes of basic, like due diligence or research. And it was kind of like, I think, like if you came along and said, look, this product works, we kind of got rushed into it, and all right, fair enough, let's go and let's do it, rather than sitting back and thinking, okay, we need to do this, we just establish a base, and then we can move on to the next hurdle, to the next hurdle. But I think because we're new and I think we were hungry, we just tried to build a cash flow, and I think that's the biggest issue I think everybody's facing. I mean, I think that's one of the issues. The other thing was that the culture is different in Africa and Asia. I mean, in terms of you've got a competition against traders who are already there, present. I mean, there's always. I mean, when I was there, one thing interesting was that when I was in Zanzibar there, or you came late. These are one of the common, you know, like some of the traders are, oh, you came late, and you know, like maybe the previous government was a better government, and you know, this one's not good, and I say, when is the time? When is the correct right time? You know, like, you know, there's never a right time. You know, you have to go in there and you have to, you know, see the market, and we just the culture. I mean, I think. In Africa and Asia, you have the more credit. It's a credit market, credit base. So you know you're dealing with people who are willing to. I mean, sometimes the market is really messed up there as well because people want to sell, and sometimes becomes a bit of a cutthroat market. So you've got traders sitting in Asia who are supplying in Africa, and they're like willing to give 30 days credit terms, and like 30, sometimes 60, 90, and you know you see so. And then you're there try to do a business, but then again you've got obviously expenditures because you got to eat, you got to, you know, accommodation, everything. So it just adds up, and obviously being away from home as well. So it's like a whole different. Now you've got a new surrounding, new people. They've kind of your family, your friends around you. So you reach a set. So I think that's some of the big challenges. But eventually, I think once you settle down and overcome these hurdles, and I think you just need sometimes a strong mind and be resilience as well to overcome these hurdles and obstacles. So I think there were some of the challenges. I've seen learning different culture, so going from one extreme to another. But I think cash flow was one of the issues, and the other issue, obviously, I think what mistake we made was, and this is my dear friend, obviously, when I met him, and he advised me because he's been in the industry for such a long time. He's travelled from Dubai, Madagascar, living out there for a long time in Comoros as well, more than 10 years, doing different businesses, and obviously sitting with that individual. I think it was a blessing in disguise because not many people I've come across, Chris, honestly, that would actually come and sit you down and basically just tell you like how it is, and literally tell you the whole scenario, like this is how it is, this trade you go into, and kind of what you do, like as a coach, and like, you know, and you just literally. It was the same experience, and you know, every day I sit with him and he used to teach me this trade, and then, you know, I explain how it works. And now that I think the knowledge and I have, I mean, it sometimes surprises some people because not so long ago I was actually at the practice, and we met an individual who's trading in aluminium. And when I started discussing about him, and he's a bit surprised at how do you know? I said, well, the nature of what, you know, because my friend, you know, he was dealing metals. This is how I know. I was daily sitting with him in the knowledge I've gained. And sometimes you think, well, this is not really, this knowledge isn't, you don't need it, but you never know that corner and the next junction that could be useful to you.
Yeah.
So
what would you say some of the biggest things you've learned about business in general?
I think the biggest thing about in business is it's sometimes I think is networking is something that's very important in business.
Yeah.
In Africa, one thing I learned is sometimes money is not everything. In terms of money cannot take you there. Sometimes you need to have a bit of both. You need to have either a good solid network or an individual that you know that can get you to access to places. So, I mean, this is something that it's always been trying to do, to get the right people on board and to get a really good circle around you that can drive you to the next stage. And having that support and network around you does, honestly, you can definitely go a mile, you know, to another milestone. And this is something that obviously I think everybody at the initial stage of their business, and any entrepreneur or anybody at any career, that having that extra support or extra individual that can, or person, or he or she can take you and help you and advise you. Networking, I think, is the biggest key, an element that I think everybody needs to focus on and get the right people on board. And finding the right person is, it's like the saying, it's like finding a diamond. It's not always easy. And I think over the years I realized, like, sometimes you get like, I don't know, like marketing companies, and they try to obviously sell you something, like, we can do this, and then eventually sometimes you have influencers who can do a better job, and all they gotta do is, like, put your product out there and regularly just advertise, and they probably do a better job and give you a better in terms of sales, better I think return, as well as a bigger audience and more followers on social media compared to some market. And this is not by all means any company out there to, but I'm just saying the difference of who and which individual that can get you across there. And I think the other thing obviously is managing your cash flow and using it at the right time and timing of things. Because sometimes you could be very eager, you see the opportunity, you're there, you're spending, but realize, well, I could have saved that and could have later on. It's like sometimes, in my case, what obviously during the pandemic, I had the opportunity of getting certified. I mean, it's still in the process, but then again, I held back because there were other priorities that took over, because we tried to certify and get, become soil organic certified as well. So something that, again, will open another channel and boost. And the other thing is, I think getting through to I think the other challenge, business challenge, is getting through to the other side, the other party, obviously, our company, and trying to overcome that hurdle with them. So whether it's their buyers or, and it sometimes depends on the day, sometimes, like my first ever sale, I had a company, and we're still working together, and we're going stronger and stronger, actually. And it was a case of, I rang the gentleman up, and we started to talk, and then straight away I got an objective. Or we already have a supplier, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, so I still try to ignore that bit, as you do. And I don't know, Chris, if you ever come across something similar when you have a similar scenario. So I tried to ignore that bit, what he said. So I carried on, and I said, well, the thing is, we produce the oil, so we've got nothing to lose in terms of, like, I mean, if it was the third party, if it was in the middle, then I'll be worried, okay, sure. But in terms of what we produce, and I was like, he was like, well, we've got already a contract in place, and it's a company, it's a French company that, and I was like, okay. I said, well, what we could do is, I said, well, like, let's talk, like, we talked about the price. I said, okay, fair enough, so I said, look, I'll send you an email and let's see what we can offer. So I sent them an offer, and they said, well, they came back with a counter offer saying, well, the current guys are doing better. So we came with another offer. So as soon as I put the phone down, I rang my partner across in Madagascar, and I said, well, listen, we've been trying for the last 6 months, honestly, like, and tried to ring so many companies. I've got a long list from America to UK and, like Europe, tried to ring, and went to 1-2 exhibitions as well, in Europe as well. And I said, look, we've got an opportunity, and what do you reckon? And he goes, well, he turned around and said the same. He goes, we've got nothing to lose, really. We produced it, so why not just go ahead? So yeah, we went ahead and got my first. It was the last year, first deal, and ever since then, we've kind of this year we tried to do double the amount of the volume for our oil, but also we've got an extensive range of different oils as well. So we're kind of building more and more. And recently, I've a very good dear friend of mine, and we partner working together in Mafia Island, which is in Tanzania. They started to produce coconut oil. So it's something that obviously soon. So, I mean, all these obstacles, you kind of overcome. And I think sometimes the challenge is that once you go getting into these people. So I don't know, Chris, if you got any advice on that matter, we can discuss afterwards. But yeah, how to get through it.
That would be great. And what would you say you've learned about yourself as you've gone through your business career?
What I've learned is that as things have gone along since if I look back, and when you sit down, and sometimes I think, well, I could have done that better. But then I realized that, well, if I hadn't gone through that process, I wouldn't have the outcome. I think as an individual, I've grown so much, and the trials and tribulations kind of face, and the hurricanes and the tides. A friend of mine asked me just yesterday, how's life? And I go, it's like a tide. Like it comes in and goes. So you have a high tide and a low tide. But definitely, I think as time has progressed along, I think mentally I've become more stronger, and confidence has built up, Chris. Honestly, you're talking to, it's like I would never do this. It's like, as I told you before we started this, I prefer to be not known and try to keep a low key, and okay, keep business and social media. I try to kind of cut this out, because that's me. I want to be. But in terms of overall now, after, I think when you start facing rejections from many companies, and for various reasons, then I'm no longer phased anymore. I can pick the phone up now, honestly, because we can actually and bring a company and say, okay, before I think about it. There are things yet to improve. Sometimes some potential clients, you're sitting there, and I'm thinking, right, what do I write to get it across to them? Now I think I'm not really phased anymore. I'm thinking, right, I'll do my best. I'll send that email. I'll try to put whatever I can, and then it's up to them to come back, and I'll follow with a phone conversation. Or worst case scenario, I'll just take I drive down to the office, and then it's one of those things. I'll knock on the door and say, listen. But yeah, so these things, I think overall confidence improvement as time has gone along, to be able to I think the thought process as well, and no longer being pressurized about situation. If things are happening, they're happening. If they're not going to happen, I don't stress about it anymore, because I think health is also important as well, in this process. It is a lonely world, and I think many would agree initially. When I tell my travels to, places I go to, and people think, oh, it's an amazing thing. It's like when I was in Ghana, right? I was in West Africa in Ghana, and I told my friend, I was in Ghana, and literally I drove past the beach. I didn't go onto the beach, but literally I just drove past it. And I told the friend, well, I go, look, I'm there for work, and when I go, it's work. When I get a break, or when I get a chance, and I do get to enjoy, and but mainly it's work. Literally, you're on the ground, you're driving from one side from the country to the other, and it's all about either seeing that contact of yours, and sometimes you get a result, sometimes you don't, and then you think, wow. But then again, it's that journey, and it's that, okay, fair enough, I went there, I spoke to individual, maybe for future references we can always go back to it. So these are the things I think that are as time goes along, I think it's something that, and then I'm trying to be now more, because I also work in the dental field as well, so I try to keep a balance. And as things are progressing along, I'm trying to cutting down and then focusing on this. I think I've just been through a bit of a whirlwind in terms of getting distracted is another thing as well, Chris, because when sometimes I've had colleagues or friends coming on and saying, oh, well, there's another investment opportunity coming along, and then you go along, and then things, well, if it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then it impacts on your current business. And then now I've come to a point where it's like, I just focus on this, stick to it, and push myself, because the opportunity is great, it's huge, and the market's huge as well for it.
Absolutely.
If somebody ever says that, oh, you're late, or there's never a gap in the market, there's always a gap in the market. I think you just got to stay resilient to it and find out and get in there. And once you're in there, you know where you stand. So it's like with our spices, like cloves and stuff. And now I think we were discussing the other day, where we're on the same ground, where we can have a multinational corporation as well. They'll be on the same ground as us, and doing the same thing, doing the same process. But the other thing is that obviously they have a bigger cash flow than us, so we get obviously budget out. But it doesn't mean that we cannot achieve that level and the growth. It only takes that finding 1, 2, 3 good clients, and you can just literally shoot up, and it's the whole lifestyle can change.
So what do you see that you're looking forward? What's the future look like, and what challenges do you face, if any?
I think in the future, the challenges. I think now. I hope to grow and make it like I think add more people to the team. So and more. And this is something I've been thinking about after probably later on in the year. Add somebody else for also to the marketing side, sales. Luckily, I've got some very good friends I met whilst I was in Africa as well. So they were doing marketing. So and they also help me out. Get advice, and so this is something expand on the team as well as I think on the ground as well. You make more improvements as well. So also try to help more to the locals. And this is something that I want to do more. So I mean, even if I wasn't in business or anything, as general, because I've lived out there and I've seen the realities, and it's a huge, disadvantage. And when you see what the real life is, what the lifestyle is there compared to here, we should be very grateful, honest to that, Chris. What we have, even if when I hear people complaining, I'm thinking, you're so lucky to be here to, you have everything at your fingertip, compared to those that, and yes, I mean, that's something I want to work on. And I think the paperwork side of things, getting more accreditations and everything, and growing from there. So because again, it opens up many doors. So and then try to expand and utilize all the like sources out there, including yourself as well, Chris. So and then so try to build from there. So I think the future is bright because it's a vast field. There's many more things that we can do because being on the ground and able to. So that just not so long ago, actually, 2 days ago, a friend of mine actually contacted me in Germany, and he's in the process of having his own distillery. And so there are exciting opportunities. You're always constantly in the field as well. So there's always constantly. And I think with pandemic and everything, with the current situation, essential oil market has risen in many of the oils. It's gone right now at the moment. There's such a high demand for some of the oils. It's crazy. And then at the other side, I've been seeing in Africa, some of the individuals I know, they're kind of expanding, and in countries now you've got like in countries like Uganda, you've got in Ghana, and many African countries now, they're starting to grow their own products and actually start producing the oils themselves. So that means that it's a very healthy market, and still there's huge demand and huge gap. It's just a matter of getting the right sources and right people on board and to move forward.
Brilliant. And just sort of one last question. What would you say to anyone that was thinking of going into business right now?
I think it's a very good. I think after obviously going through the COVID virus and everything, and I think now, like I've always said, it's always a good time. There's never a bad time in business. I think all you got to do is, like, some of the errors I think I personally make, obviously do your research. Whether if you're doing it in the UK, whether you're going abroad, if it's abroad as well, as I would firstly suggest that visit a few times, stay out there, learn what's going on, rather than relying on other people. This is another thing as well. So relying on people is sometimes, it could be healthy, it could be at the same time dangerous on the other side as well. So because the nature of the business, what we do. So this is why I prefer to have our own setup on the ground, knowing that it's our own setup. We don't have to rely on third party, and we can always give a guarantee of the quality what we can give. So rather than back of your mind, it's like if I had to pitch to you and Chris, Chris, yeah, our product's amazing, but back of my mind I'm thinking, right, I've got that question mark, obviously, because I'm relying. But now, because even now, as we're talking this year, it's been 2 hard years. Obviously, now, hopefully this year, we're planning to launch our clove stems on the ground in Comoros. So we've managed to get a warehouse and everything. It's all in the process and everything said. And there'll be a YG International Comoros as well.
Brilliant. Oh, well.
So it's all already steady to go. And then now we have our own people. So that means we've got quality control, everything. So this is something that obviously is very important. And with good confidence, we can go and give our products without any hesitation. So yeah, coming back to your question, yeah. So I mean, research is very important. Speak to people. There are plenty of platforms out there, and go travel. I mean, go visit on the ground to see the people, see the individuals. Whether you're sourcing the product from there or you're planning to go that way. Even in the UK, you do the same. Do as much research as you can, and then just think of yourself like what can be improved, what can't be, what are the things, obstacles, potentially to face. Cash flow is something. Always keep some reserves on the side. And these are some of the things that you need to do. And then yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's luck of the draw, sometimes it's our destiny, you know. Depends on everybody's thing, but I'm a firm believer that I think if you take the initiative and you put your heart into it and you push yourself, the doors will open. Whether if it's not that one, then another one, like you said. And I'm sure the proverb, what was the proverb again, Chris? The
Japanese, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Absolutely.
There you go. So yeah, so there you go. And these are obviously of some individual must have gone through a hardship time, obviously, to have to come across this proverb. So it's not something. Obviously, this is obviously people have gone through all these I think trials and tribulations as well. So these are some of the things that they need to look over. And try to build a good network. That's a really good, important thing as well. Yeah, Chris, if you get any more questions, you can.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much. A very exciting times for you, and you know, we obviously wish you best of luck. How, if anyone's watching, would like to get in touch for any reason, Asim, what's the best way to contact you?
Best way they can contact me is, I mean, email's a good one. I mean, they can visit my website. I mean, www.yginternationalltd.com. I mean, you can put it on, I think, at the end if they want to contact me. Definitely, they can contact me directly on my mobile number as well. So I think at the end, Chris, if you can put it on the video, if you're gonna. Or,
yeah, you want to just say what your contact details are? That probably.
Yeah, sure. So my mobile number is like 07535 988 313. I was going to say +44 there because I'm so used to.
Yeah, +44 works.
Yeah.
And what's your email address?
It's so it's info@yginternationalltd.com or a.con, a for alpha.con, KHAN at YGInternationalLTD.com. So either way, one of them. I'm always my phone's like my best friend. So it's like 24 hours with me, so day and night. So any questions, anything, any inquiries, more than happy to help. And I think the motto I try to have, another thing is that in what we try to do is always when I speak to my client as well, and is that we always try to provide the competitive pricing and as well as the quality goods, because it's a change cycle. So if I provide you, Cyprus, if I provide you a good product at a competitive price, you can go on to provide your client and then your client. So, you know, it's a chain, isn't it? And I always say, like, sometimes, you know, we have a laugh and a joke, like I say, I'm not going to be a millionaire on the next deal, but I rather make enough so that you can make, you know, a good profit. So the next chain, because I mean, at the end of the day, the customers, you know, you want to try to keep them happy. At the same time, making sure that, you know, everything's, you know, it's a fair situation for everybody.
Brilliant. Well, that's it. We've been delighted talking to you, and wish you the best of luck moving forward. And yeah, we'll circle back in a few months, or maybe 12 months or so, and see how things are going. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. It'll be great. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. It's a pleasure speaking to you too.
You too.